Hi, friends. Welcome to the Wellness Lifestyle Community. I'm Cecilia, your health coach and culinary partner for today's live cooking session. My goal is to bring you healthy and nutritious recipes that are easy to make that will boost your well being. So let's get started because we want to make dinner, right? Let's get it started with today's recipe, which is loaded purple sweet potatoes. Now, if you don't have purple sweet potatoes, any type of Japanese sweet potatoes or the traditional orange sweet potatoes are fine. I hope you saw in the description box below that I recommend to bake the potatoes ahead of time before the class. But if you didn't, it's all good. No worries. I will go ahead and get that going for you before we continue with the rest of the cooking session. Now, since you know that this is a live class, so you are welcome to chat with me in the chat box there on the right hand side, I believe, on your screen. Please go ahead and say hello so I know that you are able to hear. Everything's going good. This is my first live class, so I'm really excited to have you, but I also appreciate your feedback for any questions you may have, whether or not the audio is good, or also if you just have some things you want to share, perhaps some recipes or requests that you would like to see in the future. So for those of you who have not started the baked sweet potato portion of it, let's go ahead and meet over at the oven. Start your oven temperature, preheat it to 400 degrees, and then I'll show you how to prepare the potato and put it in the oven, and then we'll proceed with the rest of the class. I'll meet you over there. Hello, Hannah, welcome. So I have prepped my baked sweet potatoes. I left one uncooked just so we can go through it together for any of those who didn't get a chance to bake it ahead of time. What you want to do is you want to wash the potato really clean, get all the dirt off, and then pat it dry with a paper towel or a dishcloth. So I'm going to go wash this one. I'll be back. You guys are going to love this recipe. I have made it for traditional steak and potato lovers, and I've had only good feedback. That's why it made it to the premier live cooking class. So I'm really excited for us to journey on this cooking class together and taste this and hear what you have to say about it. So I patted it dry with this 100% cotton towel I have here. Just nice and patted dry. It doesn't have to be completely dry, just damp dry. Okay, take your fork and we're gonna pierce the potato in just several spots. Just pierce it. Let it. This allows the potato to breathe in the oven. Oops, I forgot to preheat my oven. Let's go ahead and do that and hit start. All right, so go ahead and rotate the potato and just lightly pierce it. That's all you need to do. Super simple. I prepared a small baking sheet here with the potato. Oops, let's see and make sure. This guy does not want to sit still. Okay, here we go. So the oven is going to get preheated to 400. I'm just going to go ahead and pop it in and set the timer. Once your oven is preheated, for a small potato like that, I recommend 40 minutes. So I've got 4 potatoes here, various sizes. This large potato, I would recommend for 50 minutes, so it's a little bigger than my hand. I would recommend setting the timer for 50 minutes. Something medium like this, maybe 45. And a small one like the one I have in the oven is perfect at 40 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my cooking time for 40 minutes. And in the meantime, you know the potato is done when you take your fork and it just glides through it really easy. It comes out easily. You're not hitting like a hurdle as you poke the potato for its tenderness. So these are ready to go. I'm just going to go set these aside and head back to the prep table and we'll continue with the class. And at any time, if I'm going too fast or if you have any questions, just let me know in the chat, okay? Hello, Eric, welcome. All right, so let's go ahead and proceed. So what I like to do is I go through the recipe page from the top down, and the way it's written is usually the order that you want to cook in and the order you want to prep in. So every recipe you read is going to be formatted in the same way. So in step two, we're going to make the bacon bits. But before we start making the bacon bits, let's go ahead and cover the rest of the ingredient list together and make sure we have everything ready. So we are going to need a coconut flakes. This is the one I love. I always order this on repeat. It's unsweetened. You definitely want to get the unsweetened coconut flakes. I've tried this recipe with toasted coconut flakes and it works out fine. If you do toasted coconut flakes, you only want to bake it for 3 to 4 minutes. For unsweetened, you can go somewhere between 4 to 5, just because the toasted coconut flakes already have lost a lot of their moisture, so it's less cooking time. Okay. Oops, hold on. Trying to look at my screen here. Oh, I lost my chat window. Hold on. Okay, the next thing we need is tamari soy sauce. I don't have the traditional soy sauce. I prefer liquid aminos, so that it's the one by Bragg's. But any soy sauce that you like is fine. I do recommend try to go with something that's not very high in sodium. Next, we need our wildflower honey. Luckily, my local market had its own wildflower honey. This one has a comb in it too. Doesn't that look gorgeous? Just makes it so much more special just having that honeycomb in there. Extra good vibes from the honeybees. And finally, some paprika. The next thing on the list are hemp seeds. Let's see here, let me grab it. This is organic hemp hearts. Same thing, hemp heart, hemp seeds, interchangeable. I got mine from Costco because I do use it pretty much every day. And then we need lemon juice. So it's going to ask for 2 tablespoons. That's about half a lemon, half of a large lemon. Couple tablespoons of nutritional yeast. This is what I use. I do buy this in bulk also, and then I just save the container and refill it as it reduces the quantity in this container. I do recommend to keep your nutritional yeast in the fridge. I find that in a more humid environment, it gets kind of sticky and doesn't stay as fresh for as long. So keep it in the fridge. Our Himalayan salt, good old pink salt. Chives. Now, I went to the grocery store a couple times and they did not have any chives. They were completely out. So a substitute, if you run into the same problem, no big deal. You just take your green onions. So I will be snipping off the top of this portion for the sour cream and then taking the white portion for the topping. So if you have chives, you can use your green onions. And then our filtered water. Cheers. Might as well take a sip. Stay hydrated, folks. Such good water. So good for you. All right, next is our canned black beans or cooked black beans. So I've made this recipe several times with the black beans, and sometimes I like to change up my protein and fiber content. So today I'm going to try it with some great northern beans. These are a little semi-firm, a little bit more buttery, but just as delicious. We have our cherry tomatoes. These are Angel Sweet. I've not tried these before, so I'm pretty excited. These look really, really good. Cilantro. Let me grab that from the fridge. I keep my cilantro in the fridge as much as possible and pull it out right before I need it, just to keep it all nice and fresh. So we won't need this until the end. So I'm going to put it back in the fridge, but I wanted to show you that what you do when you take it back or when you bring it back from the store, you just snip the bottoms and then put it in some nice filtered water, just like this, and pop it in your fridge. It stays a little bit longer than usual, and it's pretty. So I will grab that when we are ready. And again, the scallion. So I'm going to use a little bit of this light green and white part, as well as a lime sliced in 2 wedges. This is definitely a non-negotiable. It really takes the flavor up a notch when you have the fresh squeezed lime at the end. So, does everyone have what we need? Any questions so far? Please go ahead and pop any questions, comments, or requests in the chat box. And if you're watching this video after the live cooking class, it will stay up live for a long amount of time. And then if you like anything you see or would like make any request after the class, feel free to add it in the comments below. Thank you. All right, let's get rolling. My other potatoes in the oven, you heard that little beep. It's getting ready to cook. So next we are going to make our bacon bits. I'm going to grab my medium bowl. I usually use these little XO bowls, but today I'm going to use a glass bowl just so I don't stain it, because it is white and I don't want it to get stained. So I'm going to go grab the glass one. Be right back. Here we are. We are going to start with a cup of coconut flakes. Hope you're all having a wonderful Monday. Hope this class time works for most of you. I really do like how the video can stay up afterwards. So if you can't make it, no big deal. Or if you want to make this again in the future for your friends and family, impress them because it's so easy and tasty, please play this video and cook along again. So here's our cup of coconut flakes. Oh, I already made a mistake. So I did not mean to put that in here. We're going to mix the sauces first and put them in the coconut flakes later. So let's go ahead. Don't do what I just did. Sorry, I am a little nervous, to be honest. It's all good though. Okay, so let's start with the liquids first. 2 teaspoons of tamari. Make sure you get the cap on nice and tight and give it a light shake. Just 2 teaspoons. This recipe is so filling and hearty, but the thing I love about it is it doesn't give you that heavy feeling, like a heavy, hard rock in your stomach, like you would get eating a traditional loaded potatoes with all the fixings in a traditional. It's magical that you can stuff yourself with this potato, have all the good nutrients, and it's tasty, and you have no heavy feeling, but you have a good content fullness in your stomach. It's so good. I'm so excited for you. Next is our wallflower. So we only need half a teaspoon. I do like my bacon bits to be a little stickier and chewier, so I'm going to over measure the half teaspoon, kind of like a generous half teaspoon. Now don't waste that honey. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I don't waste it. mm. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. Just tap it around until you get a nice, even, flat measurement, just like that. Sprinkle that in. And let me grab a mixing spoon. I forgot that. Just give it a nice stir, get all of that incorporated first. And we are going to go ahead and add our coconuts at this point, as well as these little ones on the side that I forgot to pick up. Give that a light stir. You want to kind of fold and lift it, just like this. Fold and lift it as you turn the bowl. So that way you don't crush the coconut flakes and it does get evenly coated. It's really important to make sure that it is evenly coated. I know some folks may not like coconut, but this is not like eating or traditional coconut flavor. The seasoning really does make it, give it that savoriness, that crunchy bacon type of flavor and texture. So give it a try. I mean, it's worth a try even if you don't like coconut, because it does really change the profile quite a bit. Be patient, it will eventually coat everything. So here we go. This is how you want it to look like. Now I'm gonna go ahead and grab my baking sheet and line it with some parchment paper and then throw it in the oven. So the nice thing about this recipe is you don't have to change the oven temperature. Keep it at the 400. You could put it right on the top rack in addition to your potato if you haven't finished baking it. But it's really important to set the timer and do not overcook it, because it does burn really fast if you don't take it out of the oven within 3 to 4 minutes. So let me go ahead and grab my baking sheet. Be right back. I just need some parchment paper. Make sure you seal up your bag of coconut flakes. Don't be like me and knock it over and then you have coconut flakes all over the floor. That has happened, for sure. Plus, it keeps it fresh. Gonna go ahead and line the baking sheet. Be right back. Now, for those of you who are not 100% sure what this channel is about besides cooking together, please remember to click on the video below, that introduction video about what my channel is about. There's a link in the box below. You can check it out after you enjoy your loaded sweet potatoes and see what we are all about here at Wellness Lifestyle. So once you've got your parchment paper down, we are going to get all these good bits down. And you are going to gently spread it to a thin layer. And if it's okay if it's not perfectly in one layer, because what happens is as they stick together in little clumps, you'll get little baking clumps. As you make this again, you'll notice, what happens when you have thin layer versus clumpy layers, and you'll get the texture to your liking. I kind of like a mixture of a thin layer and little clumps, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in the oven and set my timer for 4 minutes. Next, we are going to make our sour cream. Super simple. Grab your blender container, and then we are going to put everything in here except for the chives, and then a desired consistency. Start with half a cup of hemp seeds. Let's see here. I have just a 1/4 cup measuring spoon with me right now, so I'm going to double that for half a cup. Make sure you seal that up. You don't want to be spilling this all over the place either. Learn from my mistakes. Put that far away from us. 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. So this is a tablespoon right here. You are welcome to squeeze the lemon juice in your container and then scoop out the 2 tablespoons that you like. But I've done this enough so I can eyeball it. You're welcome, whatever you're comfortable with. Up to you. Use your creativity. So I'm going to eyeball it. It's about a decent sized lemon. I'm just going to go ahead. I do love a little very tart sour cream, so I'm just going to go ahead and generously add those remaining juices in there. What I also have been loving lately is taking my leftover lemon rinds, because you cannot put it in your compost. You don't want to put anything acidic in your compost. So I take over my left lemon rinds, sprinkle some baking soda, and then rub it around my sink. Clean that sink, clean your stainless steel, clean your ceramic sink, clean your cutting board, your cooking surfaces. It's so good. Definitely save these lemon rinds and use it for cleaning and then toss it. 2 for 1. Next is 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. Now, at any time, if I make a mistake and you're watching, cooking along, as I hope you are, and you see me miss something, please put in the comment below. We're in this community together to help each other out. We're not perfect, and that's why we need each other. So I've got 1 and 2. Gives it a little bit umami flavor. And then half a teaspoon of sea salt, or more to taste. I find the half teaspoon is perfect for my taste. But you can always add it after you blend it and see if you would like more. But start with half a teaspoon. Oh, that got stuck with a bunch of the honey. All right, let me make sure I got everything. Okay, now we are going to add our 1/4 cup of water. Let's take another sip. Stay hydrated, folks. I'm going to take my 1/4 cup. Oh, you hear that? That's our bacon. Let's pop over to the oven and see what it looks like. it's a little steamy. So that is 4 minutes. It's a little bit crispier than I would prefer, which is okay. It's not quite, it will crisp up as it sits. So I just stir it around a little bit, let some of the steam out. But if you would like it less crispy, definitely do 3 minutes instead of 4, but this is at 4 minutes. This actually is perfect. I like it at 4 minutes. But for those of you who want it a little less, start with 3. So I'm just stirring around to, again, let the steam escape and allow it to crisp up. It will get even crispier as it sits. So don't overcook it. I hope you can smell this. It smells so good. So we're going to let that sit aside and continue with our sour cream. How are you doing over there, folks? Everyone following along? Let me know if I need to slow down or if you have any questions. Don't be shy. All right, so now we're going to add our quarter cup of filtered water. I start with a quarter cup because it does get really thick as it sits. The hemp seeds will thicken up the sauce. And then I may add a little bit more, a tablespoon at a time, to get a slightly always add, but you cannot take out when it comes to liquids. Take another sip. All right, I'm going to move this cutting board aside for now and grab my blender so y'all can see me. Oh, coconut on the loose. Okay, let me move this stuff over here so I don't knock it over with my blender. Now I'm going to mute my audio real quick. Let's see here. So when I blend it, it's not going to hurt you. All right, let's check on the consistency. So this is the consistency right now. It's a little thicker than I would like. Right there, that's usually normal. That's totally normal with a quarter cup. I wanted to show you the differences. You may like it this thick, which is the beauty of this recipe. You can customize it. But I would like it a little bit more runny. So I'm going to add a tiny bit more, a tablespoon. Where did I put my tablespoon? Okay, let's add another tablespoon liquid. Take another sip. Always be drinking as you're cooking. I don't want you guys to be fainting or getting tired and cranky as you're cooking. You want to cook well hydrated. Well, you want to be well hydrated no matter what. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute again. Let's reboot. Let's see how it is now. Yep, that's perfect. Just a slight bit runny. Okay, so I'm going to scrape all this goodness into my container. Make sure I don't miss all, this sauce is so good. You can even just save this recipe and make the sauce on the side for like a salad dressing if you wanted. Make it add a little bit more runniness. Add it on top of your other like hearty starchy meals that you may have, you know, like any other potatoes over fries. Like if you air fry your potatoes, like do potato wedges in the air fryer and pour this on top, it's gonna be so good. All right, so I'm going to clean up my workstation real quick. You want to do that as you cook. You want to get in the habit of cleaning up as you cook because it makes life a lot easier after you're done, trust me. It's less overwhelming too. Oh, got a little dressing on my blender. We're almost done. I'm so excited for you. All right, let's wipe that down. How are we doing so far? I'm going to just pause, let us all catch up. Make sure you've got everything ready. So I'm going to prep myself for the toppers. And so I'm going to grab my cutting board and my knife and get those toppers going. I always like to put a cloth underneath my cutting board so the surface might be slippery sometimes. So I just have a little cloth here. Place your cutting board on top because you don't want to injure yourself with a cutting board that slides around. So make sure it's nice and stable, has that good grip. Before I chop up the vegetables, let's go ahead and get our beans ready. You want to rinse and drain them. So before I open up any aluminum can, I always get a paper towel and I rim here because usually there's a lot of heavy metals and debris up here during transport. So you just want to wipe that down clean. If you have a traditional can opener like this is the proper way to use it. You put it on top of the can, just like that, not on the side, not like this, okay? You want to put it on top. And you clamp it down, and this way prevents you from cutting yourself when the top comes off. The whole thing comes off really nice and clean. So I'm going to show you right here. Clamp it down, go ahead and use it like normal. And voila. See that? Came out all nice and clean. You don't have to worry about cutting yourself. I'm going to chuck this in the recycling. I'm going to grab my colander by the sink and rinse off all this debris, all the leftover paper and stuff in there, and I'll meet you back here in a moment. Voila, all nice and rinsed and clean. So I put it over my bacon bits bowl. Hey, I don't like to do dishes as much as anyone else, so we're gonna reuse what we have to limit our dishwashing. So I'm gonna put this on the side. and proceed with chopping up our goodies. Let me wipe down this surface here. Get a nice clean start. Let's go ahead and chop up our cherry tomatoes next. We want half a cup. You just need a, where's my, all right, so let's get a half a cup tomatoes chopped. So that's what, about 6 cherry tomatoes, maybe, so that's another 6 for half a cup. Doesn't have to be exact. If you like more tomatoes, have at it. If you like what you're seeing so far, you want to continue cooking with me, I really hope you do. Please remember to subscribe, like, and what's really important is you hit that notification bell icon because I announce my classes a week in advance with the recipe in the description box, just like this class, so you can get ready ahead of time and get yourself added part of your meal planning. I would love to have you join the community. All right, get those nicely halved. Next, we are going to chop up our cilantro. Again, this is for the topping. So let me grab my fresh cilantro. And I always wash anything that I put in a container like this in the fridge, any herbs, I do wash it before I put it in there. So I'm just gonna eyeball, so this is like half the tomato. I'm just gonna eyeball it. I do love cilantro. It's so good, very detoxifying, adds a lot of flavor. So that's about half a cup. I'm just gonna prune the rest. The rest that are kind of like a little bit weepy, we're gonna go ahead and enjoy that, okay? Oh, I just realized I forgot something. No big deal, I'll go back to it after I chop the cilantro. Let's focus on the task at hand. Do you guys have like favorite music playlists that you play while you're cooking? If you do, put it in the comment box because I would love to know what people like to listen to while they're cooking. I sometimes like to play a little bit of light jazz when I'm cooking. Just depends on my mood. Sometimes a little soft reggae or classical, something that's calming and peaceful. And sometimes I don't play anything. Sometimes I just listen to the birds outside and just enjoy nature. All right, this is perfect. So let me know what you like to listen to. Maybe we can have it in the background on our next class and listen to it together. So the thing I forgot, which is no big deal, is the scallions. So again, I mentioned I'm going to cut the green part and put it in the sour cream sauce. So let's see how much scallion. Okay, so I wanted 2 tablespoons of chives. So I was going to use the scallion to substitute for the chives. So I will pick out some couple of good old green ones. This one here, I like that one. Don't like this one as much. A couple of tablespoons, okay, and then we'll do this one. And this one looks happy too. So here we go. I have not washed these yet, so what I will do is chop off the root. And then I'm gonna step over to the sink. I'll be right back. There we go. Nice. I do like piano music as well. That's super fun. Good choice. Good choice. So again, I'm gonna add, this is about a tablespoon, here's about 2. Again, just if you're not sure, just chop it up and use your tablespoon as a measure. And over time, you'll be able to understand and experience what 2 tablespoons look like and then adjust it to your taste. So go ahead and chop it pretty finely, as fine as you can. Oh, jumping scallions. That's what I get for working with a small cutting board. Now this, again, this is to substitute the chive. So I'm going to grab my sour cream and scoop it right into the sour cream in the blender bottle here. You like how I reuse things and try not to have too many dishes? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and scrape down the sides too. Get all that goodness in there. And then you just want to stir it, fold it in, and then it'll marinate the flavors as we continue. And we're almost done. Less than a few more minutes. Just gotta add the toppers together. There we go, that looks pretty good. And then the last thing is we are going to cut the rest of our scallions for the topper and then our line. Then we will assemble. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut up my lime wedge. I did not wash this yet. Let me go wash it. All right, we're going to cut this lime wedge up. And voila, we are ready to assemble. I'm going to tidy up my workspace so I can show you the assembly process. Super simple. But let me just do a little tidying. Put all my fresh veggies in the fridge for another recipe. I have the fridge open, so I like to go ahead and get everything put back. Oh, well, my timer went off for that other baked potato. Hopefully yours went off too, so you can have it nice and hot. I'm gonna go grab it from the oven. I'll be right back. So I bought several different kinds of potato. I'm just trying to see which one's the purple one. Oh, no, these are Japanese sweet potatoes. So they're not gonna be purple, but they are sweet. Okay, so we are going to assemble. Let me grab a plate. Here we go. So you're going to grab your potato and a fork. So I'm going to cut into the potato, but not all the way through. You want to open it up like a book without cutting all the way through. Just like that. And take your fork and mash inside the potato skin so it can absorb some of the toppings and flavors into, kind of like pre-mix it into the potato. Then we are going to top it off with our beans. And then we are going to add the tomatoes. Sprinkle it with our bacon bits. Add our scallions. Isn't it looking beautiful with all these colors? Add our cilantro. Drizzle it with our sour cream, our plant-based sour cream. I'm so excited. This looks so beautiful every time. Even though the potato is a different type of potato, different beans, you can get very creative with this. And finally, our squeeze of fresh lime. Voila! Take a look. What do you think? Beautiful, right? It's going to taste as good as it looks, if not better. So let's go ahead and have our first bite together. Bon appetit. Get some of the potato, the bacon bits, the greens, the sauce, and the beans. Big bite. Mmm. Mmm. Mmm, so good. What do you think? If you do get a chance to make this later, please comment down below. Let me know what you think. As we wrap up today's session, I would like to thank each and every one of you for being with me today in our live cooking session. I would like to remind you to be kind to yourself, take care of yourself, and support one another. Until next time, may you be well, may you be happy.